Well, over the weekend, a New York Times article poked some serious holes in the seemingly storybook tale of New York Congressman-elect George Santos, the son of Brazilian immigrants who won a seat in the House. The Times article said that Santos's resume could be largely fiction, with the article going on to say, quote, new revelations uncovered by the Times have the potential to create ethical and possibly legal challenges once he takes office. Santos's lawyer has accused the Times of smearing his client's name with defamatory accusations. Joining us now is Dave Rubin, the host of the Rubin Report. Dave, good to see you. Here's the thing. I remember a Massachusetts senator, I believe her name is Elizabeth Warren, lying about her background. I think Ilhan Omar lied about the relationship that she has with her brother. I could go on, but it was interesting because I'm not dismissing the concerns. This guy apparently says he worked at Goldman Sachs. He never worked at Goldman Sachs. I mean, he goes on. He says he went to a particular college that apparently they have no record of attending. I don't believe anybody should get away with this. But I think it's very interesting that this merits a big, big splash from the New York Times, and you get a pass if you're on the left and you manufacture stuff.
Sean, as you know, if the left did not have double standards, they would have no standards at all. And speaking of no standards, I mean, the New York Times, unfortunately, at this point, is the paper of no standards. The New York Times, on the masthead, it says all the news that's fit to print. But in essence, at this point, what they've become, and I'm talking broadly now, not to this story specifically, they've become a propaganda outlet designed to defend, I would say, the Democrat Party and sort of the deep state and whatever phrase you want to use for this permanent Washington machine. And they will go out of their way to destroy anyone who goes against that. So yes, they are not going to make a big deal when Elizabeth Warren literally makes up her ethnicity, pretends that she's Native American to get a job, or when Ilhan Omar does or does not marry her brother. I guess that's sort of up for debate, although it doesn't really sound like it. This is what they do consistently with everything. And I think one of the things, to get to the earlier segment that you were just doing, is that we're finding out through these Twitter leaks that almost every story that we have been spun through mainstream media has been a lie or a diversion. And really, I think the question that we're all up against right now is, what are we going to do with that? Those of us that are waking up to it, that are seeing it, how are we going to go ahead? Because, Sean, no matter how often you talk about it, your audience hears it, I talk about it, et cetera, a certain set of Americans, unfortunately, are brainwashed by a lot of these people. And whether the New York Times, as they did yesterday, in essence, put a swastika as their crossword puzzle, or they lie about this story or that story, or they get stories from Democrat representatives and just do the laundering of their lives for them, a certain amount of people still think it's real. They still think it's real. And we have to figure out, how do we negotiate those two realities that the country seems to be living in at the moment?
I agree. And the funny thing is, they're very defensive. And I want to play you something that kind of gets to this point, because there was an uproar last month when Don Lemon was on Stephen Colbert's show, and he said, we've never been liberal. Well, he may have topped himself yesterday. He was interviewing a documentary filmmaker. I want to play you the clip.
CNN competes for views by running constant 24-hour news cycles based upon fear, division, outrage, and panic.
First of all, I don't agree with what you're saying, but I'm not exactly sure of how that played into people going into the Capitol and rioting on January 6th. There's nothing fake about CNN.
So, I mean, I don't know where he just goes, there's nothing fake. The guy wasn't accusing them of being fake. He was just saying, you guys basically inflame stories and you're sensational. And then Don Lemon just goes, and we're not fake. It was like, dude, no one accused you of that. You literally, but that's your defense mechanism if you're Don Lemon, I guess.
Don, thou protest too much. Thou dost protest too much. I mean, come on, man. Like CNN, everyone knows what they have done. Look, they pushed this very fine people hoax. They pushed the Jussie Smollett story. They pushed the Brett Kavanaugh as a serial rapist. They pushed Kyle Rittenhouse is a white supremacist. The Covington kids are racist. The Russia hoax. Should I go on, Sean? How much time do we have today? CNN has lied about
25
everything.
seconds.
And Don Lemon then goes on these TV shows, as he went on Stephen Colbert, and says, no, we don't have a liberal lefty bias. He's saying we're not fake at CNN. I'm fairly certain his glasses are fake, because he's trying to look like a newsman as opposed to actually report like one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nutty thing.
Look at those glasses. Come on. Nobody wears thick rimmed glasses like that for vision.
I'm going to have to leave that to you because mine are just, I don't go, I just need them for reading. So I don't have to pull that off. Maybe that's what I'm missing. I'm going to think about that in case you're looking for a Christmas present. Dave Rubin, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for being here.
Merry Christmas, my friend. I'll see you soon.
Happy Hanukkah. You bet.